Caleb here from Tosa Tool. Today I want to talk about the modular vise jaws. So I'll go through kind of an unboxing of it, and then I'll set it up and then build a couple setups on it. Okay, so along with your plate there will be two 3/4 inch long 7/16 14 socketed cap screws. And with the plates there are two sizes. There's the 8x5 and the 6x4. So let's unwrap this one. And this is the 8x5. Okay, so this is made from 4140 pre-hardened steel, and it's machined square, and it is 3/4 inch thick. And as you can see, there's a black oxide finish, and this is for corrosion resistance pretty much. And this has the same modular pattern as the rest of the plates. So if you mount something to the table, you can mount it to the vise, this plate in the vise, the same way. And this is designed for the Tormach machinist vise, but just like almost all of our other products, it can be customized to fit your vise. And it's similar to the modular angle plate, where it can mount things vertically, but is a little smaller and has the clamping power of your vise, not just the clamping kit. So, and if you have a Kurt angle lock vise, it provides clamping force down as well as straight across to keep the movable jaw down, and that keeps your clamped part down. So if you have a tall plate on the movable jaw, you need a lot of force to keep it clamped. So this plate works super well with that vise. So there are a couple ways you can set this up. You can put one plate on the fixed jaw and keep the stock plate on the movable jaw, and I'll build a setup with that. You can also put one on the back jaw, the fixed jaw, and one on the movable jaw also. And then you can also mix and match them. So say you want to put the large plate on the back and the smaller plate on the movable jaw, you could interchange them. So now I'll mount this to the vise. So first I'll mount one of them to the back fixed jaw. But before I mount it on, I'm going to have to take out these socketed cap screws and to take off this plate. And I'm going to make sure that there's no chips or coolant in the back of this, so that the plate fits completely flush and there are no chips inside of it. Okay, so I'm going to actually put a smaller one on this side, just for a first setup. Okay, now let's mount a cylindrical tube to this, and so on the bottom we'll use the clamp, and then on the top we'll use one of the clamps from the modular clamping kit. So I'll tighten this up. And I'll put a couple locating pins in. And now we can build our clamp. So I'm going to put a 3-inch stud into the farthest hole. And I'll probably want it all the way down. And then I'll put a 4-inch stud into this one, but I'm going to put a jam nut on there first to clamp it down to the plate. And I'm going to tighten this jam nut down. Okay. And then that'll go right there. And now we can put a washer and a flange nut on here to clamp it down. And I'm going to primarily use this bottom clamp because that's way stronger than this one with just the nut. So I'm going to wait to tighten this one up. Make sure this is square against these pins. And tighten it up a little. Then I'll tighten this clamp. And then I'll tighten this a little more. And now this is very tight. So now if you want to machine off the top of this tube, or if you wanted if you had something else in there and you wanted to drill a hole in the top or thread a couple holes in there for a hole pattern or something. Okay, now I'll change the setup. So I'll take this stock plate off and I'll put another small modular plate on. So now that one's loose also. Okay, and I'll use these 2 long precision pins and I'll locate these together. So looks like this jaw needs to be a little closer, and that should be good right there. And okay, a little closer still. Okay, so now those are pretty close together, and I'll tighten these down. Okay, so all of them are snug right now, so I'll tighten these down now, all of them. Alright, and now these are tight, so I'll try to take these pins out. Okay, so now these are directly in line with each other. These holes are. So now let's put a sample setup in here. Let's go with a round stock piece like this. So as you can see, there's some work been done on this edge. So maybe we want to do something on this other edge, like put a hole or a threaded hole or some type of hole pattern, or if we wanted to do some work on that edge, whatever that work might be. So put a threaded locating pin in the bottom here to raise it up a little bit. I'll tighten that down in. Okay, and that's pretty tight right there. So now let's see if this standoff is thick enough. So I'll put this one in here, and then that should work. And then I'll put one that does not thread, just goes in the 0.5 or the half-inch precision holes right at the top. So that should do well. Okay, make sure that's tight, and there we go. So it's clamped tightly with this top and bottom one, making it higher up so that it's supported all the way up at the top as well as at the bottom. Like if you just had these vise, the stock plates. Okay, so now let's set up a different setup. So now let's show a different setup with one of these large plates on the back and the stock plates on the other one. Okay, so now if you wanted this set up, if you had a really long bar stock or something like that, you could clamp it in here and clamp the bottom with the vise like I did on this round stock, and then clamp it up at the top with a clamp. And then it's better for longer things, even longer than what I clamped with the small plate. And you could even use it as kind of an angle plate, like I released the video for. So there are a lot of options you can use with it. So now I'll mount this other large plate to instead of this stock plate. And I'll loosen these again. So I can locate these plates together. Okay, so both of those are loose. Now I'll use these long precision pins again and go through these two holes. That should be good. And there we go. Okay, and now they're located together and we can clamp these down. Okay, now those are all tight, and we can take these pins out. Okay, so now you can, clamp something inside here, just like we clamped before, or you can move these on the outside right here and have even more room between the plates than your 5-inch clamp, the 5-inch space between these. And if you're familiar with the new Tormach operating system called PathPilot, it's essentially a stripped-down version of Linux that only drives the steppers instead of running a whole bunch of unnecessary background programs. So inside the software, there are soft limits, along with the hard limits. So when you turn your machine back on, it will zero out to exactly the same point that it was zeroed at before. So you won't have to worry about chips and coolant throwing off the zero and having to re-zero it every time you turn on your machine. And when you don't need these plates on your vise, or if you don't need your vise on your mill, you can just easily put it away in a drawer and when you're done with it. And if you write down where it was and put it back in that same position, and since it zeroes out to the exact same position every single time, the accuracy of the holes in the modular plate at 0.2 thousandths will be the accuracy of these vise plates once you get them mounted to the vise and the vise mounted to its mounting plate. And again, if you have a different vise than this Tormach machinist vise, tell us and we can customize the mounting pattern to fit your vise. And if you need modular components that you don't see, submit your design to Tosa Tool today. And if you need financing, it's available up to 6 months interest-free through PayPal. Well, until next time, take care.